Is that a UFO? Oklahoma families spot bizarre, otherworldly sighting in the sky. And I know what you're all gonna say. It's fake, it's Photoshop, it's this, it's that. It's some secret technology that military is using. I mean, come on, y'all. This has been going on for thousands of years. It's written in scriptures, paintings, caves, thousands of years old. I mean, the Sumerians talked about it, and they were real. The Sumerians were real. Were they in cahoots with the United States military? I don't think so. There wasn't even a United States back then. So for all of you that are saying this is military technology and this is us doing it, were we doing it 5,000 years ago? Because that would be fucking crazy, wouldn't it? And yeah, if you want to read the article, just click the link in the profile, go to the articles tab and read it for yourself. If you can read. If not, I don't know what to tell you.
World War III is apparently not enough. Now the Pentagon and the DoD are trying to fight aliens. Because we can't ever just be normal, we have to fucking attack everything. The DoD is developing a new technology called Gremlin that has the ability to essentially in real time capture surveillance UAPs that are in our airways. The Resolution Office is producing and refining a new deployable surveillance capability, the Gremlin system, to enable personnel to capture real-time data and more rapidly respond to unidentified anomalous phenomena. Currently, the system is picking up a lot of bats and birds. We're learning a lot about solar flaring. We're really starting to understand what's in orbit around our planet and how to eliminate those anomalous objects. They're experimenting with this new technology in Texas. We're working with some of the government labs, such as Department of Energy labs, and we have a great partner with Georgia Tech. And what we're doing is developing deployable, configurable sensor suite that we can put in Pelican cases. We're going to be able to pull it into the field to do a long-term collection. Since the UAP target, that signature is not clearly defined, meaning it's not necessarily even a solid object, they really don't know what it is, we have to do hyperspectral surveillance to try to capture these incidents. So what exactly is hyperspectral imaging? Essentially, hyperspectral imaging captures wavelengths of light that the human eye cannot see, meaning a lot of these UAPs are invisible to human beings, but we do have technology that can capture them. I find the language that they're using about eliminating these objects to be alarming.
In the summer of 2011, the OceanX team captured this blurry image at the bottom of the Baltic Sea between Sweden and Finland. They claimed that their image showed a 60-meter-long circular object that appeared to be man-made. There was a hole in the side of the strange object that looked like a doorway. And when OceanX equipment got too close to this object, they malfunctioned or stopped working completely. The media went crazy. Was it an alien spacecraft? Was it the Millennium Falcon? Or perhaps it was an ancient city lost to time? Well, this got a ton of other scientists very excited, and they believe they came up with an answer as to what this object is. And the answer correlates with an interesting time in history. The Baltic Sea anomaly doesn't appear to be a UFO. It's actually thought to have formed from glacial and post-glacial processes. In other words, it was formed by a glacier thousands of years ago. This was during the Younger Dryas period, when a mass event wiped out woolly mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, and early human civilizations. So while this wasn't a UFO, it is further evidence that a massive global event like a meteor impact did happen 13,000 years ago and completely changed the landscape as we know it today. What was the world like before this time period? While it would be amazing if we did find a spacecraft at the bottom of the Baltic Sea, it's also amazing that we're able to find and identify these strange phenomena that could tell us more about our past, which will help us understand more about our future.
An alien invasion in New York City. We can report that. The mysterious blue illumination scared many people while lighting up social media.
It's not supposed to look like that in the night sky.
The New York City skyline was mysteriously illuminated last night.
Look, it's flashing.
It's the sky.
Looks like the end of the world or something.
With a glowing shade of blue.
What is that? Holy
The sky was like such an eerie blue and everything. It was crazy.
Sending many people into a confused panic.
What the
I said to my husband, we are being attacked. This is a terrorist attack.
What's going on in NYC right now?
Turning others to social media for answers.
It's like an alien attack.
It looked like a UFO coming from the sky. It was scary.
If you could see that.
That's a UFO.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I asked News Nation special contributor Ross Coulthard about this latest sighting in Oklahoma, and here's what he had to say.
It's very strongly indicative of a lot of objects that frankly never get explained, that appear in skies, not just over America, but all over the world.
We want to bring in now the man who filmed this video with his son, Navy veteran Steve Aragona. Steve, thank you for your service and thank you for being here tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Steve, walk us through what you and your son saw. How bright was this? What made you think that this was something you hadn't seen before?
Well, so we were all out front. The kids were riding their bikes, throwing footballs. It was getting kind of dark, and my neighbor across the street, Kevin Lucia, says, "Hey, Steve-O, look at this." And so I was kind of standing next to him, and he pointed up, and I looked up, and this, whatever it wasn't moving at this point. It was just stationary, and it was bright. It was so bright. I'm like, okay, this is not a shooting star. This isn't a comet or a helicopter or an airplane or anything that we've ever seen before. So like everybody else, man, we get our phones out and, I'm doing a little video of it and the kids have their opinions on what it was, which was kind of comical. And, the rest is kind of history, but it eventually started moving. And then, once it started moving, it shot out this almost looked like a round, smoky type circle. And usually if something like that happens and it's a rocket, after listening to numerous experts, it would move away from that circle. Well, not in this case. This object actually moved towards the circle that it produced, which was really odd for us. And then it eventually disappeared.
Just disappeared out of thin air, or did you see it fly away slowly?
Yeah, well, no, it started moving towards that smoky ring. And then as it got closer to it, it just kind of faded, like it just vanished.
It just vanished. Okay. And we do want to note SpaceX did have a launch earlier, but SpaceX saying you would have seen that 180 degrees in the opposite direction. Steve, very quickly, Did you believe in extraterrestrial life before this, and what do you think now?
Well, we all kind of have our thoughts and ideas, but if we all think that we're the only species that God has made in this big, vast universe, I think we're mistaken. But, who knows? I mean, it's definitely interesting. So.
Definitely interesting, Steve. Steve Aragona, appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for just telling us what you saw. Thank you.
There's now a Pentagon review of decades of government investigations into UFO sightings has found no evidence any of those sightings were extraterrestrial.
To clear this up, they are saying that no aliens or alien bodies have been recovered because we are now referring to aliens as interdimensional beings simply because to get from certain parts of our universe, you would have to travel interdimensionally. So you can call them extraterrestrials, you can call them aliens, or you can call them interdimensional beings. But right now, they have decided collectively to call them interdimensional beings.
No evidence of an alien cover-up by the American government.
So you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff coming out on the news saying that there's no proof of aliens, that no alien bodies have ever been recovered. And that's because they have collectively decided to start calling them interdimensional beings, and they did that earlier on. And if you ever ask them about that, they're going to say, well, we didn't lie to you because they're not aliens, they're interdimensional beings. Weren't you watching the hearings?
Official word from the Pentagon, no dead alien bodies, no crashed alien craft, and no government cover-up.
Just like they decided to call UFOs UAPs to cause confusion. You're welcome.
Tonight, 8 months after that out-of-this-world testimony on Capitol Hill.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human.
Hey, man, it's going crazy out here with these aliens, man. This is them abducting people in Atlanta. Just stole a whole bunch of big-legged black women out of Atlanta, sucked them up into a ball of light, and they gone, man. I don't know what we gonna do. They gone.
Catalog 69
different species, different life forms. There's one species that at full adulthood is about 1.5 feet. There's another species that's 10 or 12 feet. The ones that people often refer to are around 3 to 4 feet, 39 inches or so tall. We have very good forensic drawings from men who've been on the retrieval teams of what these various species look like. The reason they keep coming back, number one, it's not a coincidence that the modern era of all this started when we started detonating atomic bombs. What Edward Teller and Oppenheimer didn't understand when they were developing that is that when you detonate an atomic bomb, you get, everybody knows about an electromagnetic pulse, the pulse that goes out, knocks out all electronic communication. What people didn't know about is there's also a pulse of what's called scalar energy, and scalar is faster than the speed of light.
Post something interesting that happened over Oklahoma 2 nights ago, so on the 4th. But I do want to point out, and I'm asking too, so here in Oklahoma yesterday, Facebook and Instagram crashed. And we're down for, I think, about an hour, maybe longer. But, I mean, it was fully down, no matter where you were. There was an emergency broadcast system that went around the, over the radio at the same time. And our tornado sirens went off. Like I said, I don't believe in any type of coincidence. So this has to be something. And what I'm doing, what I'm wondering, did this happen in your town? Did this happen wherever you are? Let me know. Also, here's the video of a UFO that we caught the night before on film that pretty much shot out what looked like a portal. Y'all, portals were open over Oklahoma last night. Not even joking. We had some UFO sightings, and turns out we actually have had this happen in January of this year and December of last year. I didn't know until I started digging. We had a UFO, huge, bright light, okay, going through the atmosphere, not our atmosphere, I guess space, and it shot out a beam that was a circle that expanded and grew in the sky. No joke. Here, watch for yourself. Tell me what you think.
Oh, wow. Look, it's separating from itself. What the hell is that?
That's a UFO.
It's shooting out some sort of...
Sound wave.
What is that? Like some sort of like pulse energy or something. Like,
I have a feeling that CERN is involved. And I find it very interesting. In my first video of the eclipse series, right, there was a 2-minute portion where I talked about CERN. And once I posted it, it was gone. When I watched the video, everything was fine and dandy. Everything was in place. All the cuts that I had. And then when I posted it, that section was gone. Only that section. And all of that section. Suspicious. Very suspicious. In a nutshell, what I was saying, and I'll say it quickly, they have already told us that it's going to be pretty overcast the night of the eclipse. How can you predict? How can you be so certain? I had to do that. But how can you predict over a month, like 40 days in advance, that it's going to be cloudy and severely overcast that night? You cannot predict weather like that. You can't. It's unpredictable. You know what I mean? Like, no. I don't understand that. And then I also talked about the Hopi tribe and a little bit of what they dealt with when it came to that 4-letter company. But it's probably best that that was cut out. I'm not quite sure that my video would still be up if it had been in there. In fact, I probably wouldn't even have an account right now. You can do your own research. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of information out there. I do want to talk about Project Bluebeam at some point. I don't know. This UFO thing, though, it has me shook a little bit. And it was seen all over Oklahoma. I'm seeing people, my friends post. I'm seeing other people post about it. And they all live in different areas.
I had a secret clearance. I was able to go into restricted areas, which this was. And I walked into a photo lab, which was the NASA lab across the hallway. At the time, I was talking to one of the techs in there, and he drew my attention to a photograph, a NASA photograph. And this was an aerial photograph of the Earth, I'm assuming the Earth, because it had pine trees on it. And the shadows of the craft, or whatever it was, were in the same angle as the trees. And by its very nature, UFO, and I wanted to clarify that to a gentleman that was talking to me, means unidentified. So I did not know what this was. But I realized at this point that it's very secret, that it was kept secret, because I asked him, what are you going to do with this piece of information? And he said, we always airbrush these out before we sell them to the public. After that, I decided I would ask questions to other people. A guard told me that he was asked to burn some photographs and not to look at them. And there was another guard guarding him, who was in green fatigues, watching him burn the photographs. And he said he was too tempted. He looked at one, and it was a picture of a UFO. And he was very descriptive. I can go into that later with anyone. He immediately was hit in the head, and he had a big gash in his forehead. He was knocked out, and he was terrified, so he would have to be protected. So I do want to let you know that I worked out there for a number of years, and I ran into this. So it's not something everyone knows that works out there for a long time. My boss didn't know about it. Some people that sat right next to me didn't know about it. It's very strange, because I don't know how they can do it, but they can let some people know about it and then others not. I'm willing to testify before Congress that what I'm saying is true, and thank you very much.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be breaking it down for you this weekend. I got plenty of time to do some content. I'm off work the rest of the week. I don't have my child with me, so I'm going to be really breaking this stuff down. I've been really heavily researching the alien demon thing, and I'm going to look at both aspects of it. We're going to start today. We're going to be focusing on that, because the main thing is not showing footage of UFOs. I mean, it's just a waste of time. I mean, we look at the footage, oh, wow, it's another UFO video. We're going to talk about who they are and what they are. That's what I'm interested in, because I've seen some of these things. I've had experiences, so with some of you guys. You've seen some of this stuff. You want to know what it is. They might tell you there's something, but they might be something else. You don't know, because there's testimony saying that they've lied. Let's look at, first of all, we're going to look at the aliens and demon thing, and then we're going to look at the aliens are not demons in some later videos. But this one, is this showing the aliens or demons? We're not just talking about people that don't know anything. We're talking about people that are getting information. Astronauts, people that were involved with the Pentagon. They're saying it. Are they giving us disinformation? Are they trying to tell us something? Check out these few clips and tell me what you think.
One of the biggest things, surprisingly, that he ran into with opposition within the Pentagon and within the Defense Department to the work that he was doing is that there was a very large contingent of people that believed that this was a demonic force, as in demons, and that we shouldn't be doing it.
Okay, so he's referring to people involved with the Pentagon and people that are in the Department of Defense and other places. So why would they be saying that amongst themselves? Why would they be saying that? They're demons. They're demons. Okay, let's check this out. Former astronaut says the same thing.
Or God showed me the specific answer to two prayers, that they're demonic. And they're demonic beings that make an appearance and appear to be real, and they are real.
Once again, Here they go. Now you hear the word God and it throws you off. Look, this is not a political thing. If somebody is taking UFOs as a political thing, you're brainwashed. You're brainwashed. This is not left. This is not right. We're trying to find out the truth. Leave the politics out of it. This doesn't have to do with anything. If you're talking about there's no proof that religion goes along with aliens, then you're lying. Because I can show you absolute proof out of the Bible of things happening right now. So you can't say that Bible stuff is old religious stuff. So I'm going to show you proof about aliens that they could be demons and aliens that they might not be demons. But this video is showing you that aliens could be demons. Next.
But if you talk to people who, have actual knowledge of it that they gathered themselves, there are parts of that story that I do not understand at all that are really, really, really dark. It's so dark that I, haven't told my wife about it.
So tell me, guys, this is the scary part. You can look at old ancient Sumerian writings and you can find proof that aliens are real. You can look at biblical scriptures and other scriptures, Islamic scriptures, Muslim and all this, they're religious, and find where demons and jinns are absolutely 100% real. And then you've got people like me that sing demons, so I know demons are a real thing. I know they are. They're very real. I've seen them. I know they are. Satan is very real. Real. Very real. So, but are they the same? This is the thing I want to break down. I believe in both. I believe there's aliens and I believe there's demons. But are aliens demons? Okay. This is what we're breaking down. This is the reason this video is so long. Look, guys, this is what I'm trying to show you. Then I'll let you make up your minds on what you believe. Now, this is the scary thing. I can show you plenty of proof out of biblical scriptures and religious scriptures that aliens could be demons. But how much proof can you show me that they're not? How much proof? Not very much. Not very much. That's just, I've researched this for years. There's not very much proof. Oh, there's an ancient carving with a drawing on it that says so. Oh, okay. All right, well, anyway, could it be true? Could it be true? Tucker Carlson said that it's so dark, he can't even tell his wife. He knows something. He does know something. He's not telling us, so he definitely knows something. If he was trying to lie to you, he would tell you. Wake up. I'm going to leave you with this biblical scripture that is very scary. And if you ignore it, go ahead. 2 Corinthians says, even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. Light beings. This was written thousands of years ago. So it is no surprise that his servants also disguise themselves as angels of righteousness. Their end will come. And for someone to be so shallow-minded, that doesn't have nothing to do with what we're seeing. That's pretty shallow-minded, considering it has a lot to do with what we're seeing. I'm not saying everything is, but look, this is why I know this stuff, is because I really research it. I don't research one thing and say that's it. We're going to get into the meat of this subject this weekend. Leave your comments.
No sé. Sí se ve, pero no sé qué es.
I didn't actually know about UFOs and aliens at the time, so I just thought he was a strange person.
All of a sudden, in front of us were these two beings, these things.
Suddenly realized that he's not quite normal.
Smooth and soft looking. It looked like you'd slide right off if you tried to touch him. He'd just...
and all I could really see was its face, really, really white in color. And massive eyes. Couldn't really see the nose or the mouth.
But it was the eyes that made him.
So that kind of shape, I think the eyes were obviously a lot more fluid, round, shiny, protruded.
Almost like rugby balls or American footballs. Huge eyes on the side of his...
The eyes.
As if time had stopped around and I was just completely engulfed in these eyes.
Guys, the UFO seen above North Conway has now touched down in Boston. Take a listen to this.
Well, you're going to think I'm crazy. There's something that just went from right to left to right in a blink and then flashes lights 3-4 times and vanished.
Okay, that might be those two aircraft, I'm not sure.
This thing went 180 degrees in like a second.
And just in case you're not up on your aviation, planes that go 180 degrees in a second don't exist.
Oh, goodness. All right. Yeah, let me know if you see it again. We'll make a report.
Well, the details, it literally went from one coast to the other in front of us, and then it went up like 30 degrees, turned off its lights, or whatever it had. It looked like it's a bright orangey thing.
Bright orangey thing. In Boston, could this be a traffic cone?
And then, since we spoke to you last, it flashed us like 3-4 times, and we are still looking at it now.
I gotta say, this guy sounds very composed for a man staring dead on at a UFO.
80 miles in front of us, and it looks like it's coming, I don't know, it's flashing towards us. But it is definitely not an airplane. It doesn't have a strobe lights or anything on it. It's just this bright orange going on and off. Yep, this definitely wasn't an airplane.
Renegade traffic cone, giant illuminated dunk sign, multicolored water tower, or UFO. Nobody really knows, but what we do know, folks, is that there's some strange things happening in the skies of New England.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hold on. Let me slow this down for you. Hold on, bro. 1 second. Check this out. Look at this. Just look at this. Now, if I inch this little bit by little bit, watch this. Like it looks like it's legit opening a portal. But the part that you don't see in this video that you can kind of see in my other videos is that when it goes through it, or where it would be, like it disappears, like it fades out. But you'd have to look at the original video to see that. Anyway, look at this, bro. Like, it literally just like shoots out this little thing and it just tears open a hole. At least it looks like, that's what it looks like. I don't know. Like, it just creates this hole or this portal for it to go through. But here's the thing, like, I'm not the only one who caught this. So supposedly another guy caught footage also from a completely different location. But his hit the news. So I think he took his to the news station. The news did their own investigation and was like, okay, it's not a rocket because this is where the stations are located, X, Y, and Z. That part I ain't know. And the only reason I found out about the news thing was because somebody else was like, hey man. Now here's the even more trippier part. It wasn't just a yesterday thing. Well, this is more like 3 days ago. So it wasn't like just something that just happened and it's the first time this ever occurred. Bro, I looked this up online and with these keywords like, you know, circle, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Supposedly this thing has been happening for like, well, the farthest back that I seen was like 2017. Yeah, bro, I'm thinking about actually dropping the full clip, but actually zoomed in. The difference between my video and the other guy's video is his kind of, I don't know, pans over. The UFO goes out of camera. Mine, I had it locked on the entire time until it started like disappearing, basically. Like, anyways, yeah, you got to see that original video I posted.
Is it moving? Yeah, it was moving. Look at that. It threw something out. I got it on video. Good. That's like UFO. There's a ring in front of it. See it? Yeah.
Look, it's separating from itself. What the hell is that? It's shooting out some sort of... What is that? Like some sort of like pulse energy or something. Like...
Hey guys, check this one out. UFO in China. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
Whoa!
It just shot off like a... Oh my gosh, it did. The heck?
Shit. What are we watching, guys? What are we watching?
Oh, video it, boo.
I know. Bro. Get out of here.
Parker, are you videoing? Good.
Se formó en el cielo un rostro totalmente demoníaco, macabro, que, ojo, ponga mucha atención a este video, que se ha hecho totalmente viral, que ha generado una gran cantidad de preguntas, de comentarios. ¿Qué es lo que está sucediendo no solamente aquí en la República Mexicana, sino en diferentes partes del mundo? Porque se están viendo tantas señales, desde la figura del Maestro Jesús de Nazaret hasta otras cosas que no tienen sentido. ¿Será acaso que estamos viviendo en una simulación? Señales apocalípticas, algo nos tratan de decir, o quizás es una realidad del famoso proyecto Bluebeam y se trata de hologramas para meternos miedo. Aquí le dejo el audio original. Muy buenas noches.
Ay, no, me da mucho miedo.
A mysterious object seen in the western Oklahoma City skies.
Maybe you saw this video going around on TikTok. Well, it came from the southwest area of Oklahoma City.
All day, News 4's Caitlin Ogle's been trying to track down where it came from.
Faster than that. What is that?
March 4th at 7:29 p.m., Steve Aragona outside with his kids.
Everybody was playing out front, and my neighbor Kevin goes, "Hey, Steve, take a look at this." And we look up, and this white thing appeared in the sky. Everybody had their opinions on what it was.
Not the shooting star.
No, it's moving too slow for a shooting star. Oh, wow.
That's a UFO.
Look, it's separating from itself.
No, those are sound waves.
Like Steve, we wanted to know what it was. Yes! So we caught up with OU aerospace professor Ken Carson. He was bowling with his senior league.
It looked like a normal ascent of a rocket with a booster separation staging. It's a new blast, if you will, of oxidized propellant coming off the separation of that first stage.
On March 4th, SpaceX had a launch from Cape Canaveral. That was at 6:56 Eastern Time, 5:56 Oklahoma time. Steve saw this at 7:29.
Right now, we're facing west. You can see it here on my compass. And we're told the object was seen over there, just over those roofs. Now, I know what you're thinking. This was probably from SpaceX in Florida. But if that was the case, they would have seen it over here in the east.
Wayne Harris Wyrick is a local astronomer.
If you look very carefully at that, there's kind of like two bright spots.
He has his own theories.
I looked at all the launches from SpaceX and other publicly announced launches. My best guess is Vandenberg Air Force Base launched some sort of secret military flight into to do whatever it is they do in orbit.
That's in California. We called, but a public affairs representative told us the timing of their launches also don't add up. Until we find out more, experts say keep looking up.
I'm just glad people are outside looking up in the sky.
In Oklahoma City, Caitlin Ogle, Oklahoma's News 4.
We have contacted both Space Force bases on each sides of the coast, along with a number of Air Force bases across the country, only to be directed to other bases. We'll keep you posted.
And I guarantee our viewers will be sending us ideas of what they think it is.
Yeah.
Ross Coulthard. All right, Ross, I'm just going to give you the floor on this because you know far more about this than, well, certainly than me, but anybody else. This report, the headline, as Joe says, basically no evidence of aliens or any kind of cover-up of aliens. You say what?
Good evening, Connell. Well, firstly, I don't think anybody's surprised that the Pentagon is making a pronouncement like this. I'm talking to multiple people tonight, people inside the legacy retrieval program, reverse engineering program that is being secretly operated by people within the US government and private aerospace who hoot with laughter at this feeble attempt by the Pentagon to try and stop the issue being discussed any further. We know for a fact that the Inspector General of the intelligence community, that is the oversight body for the intelligence community, separately from the Pentagon, has made a determination that David Grush's complaints are credible and urgent. And that's why they were referred to the Congress for investigation. Right. And I was only just recently in Washington talking to senior staffers, senior congressional representatives, and senior senators. And by golly, they are not letting go of this just because the Pentagon makes a pronouncement that it's not true. They know it's true. They have first-hand witnesses who've testified about it, who didn't go to Arrow, to the Defense Department, because, frankly, Connell, they didn't trust them. And that's the problem. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the person who created this report, it's alleged by the people I've been talking to that he set out with a preconceived agenda. And I can reveal here tonight that I've found out some of the members of a special secret advisory committee that Dr. Kirkpatrick used to advise him in the preparation of that report. I have their names, I have their roles, I know who they are. They are the gatekeepers, believe it or not, to this legacy program. Mm-hmm. They were quite literally pulling the strings on this Arrow report. And people are so angry, so bitterly angry with this feeble attempt at a cover-up that they are now leaking more assiduously to people like me, and more importantly, whistleblowers are becoming more compelled to come forward and give evidence about what they know. And if I can just make one further point. Okay. There is an executive order under your President Ronald Reagan, God bless him, back in the 1980s, this executive order 12333 banned covert actions by the US intelligence community against the American public, designed to influence American public opinion or media commentary. Now, the allegation that we now have on the books is a constitutional crisis for the United States, because you have two separate arms of government. You have the ICIG, the Intelligence Community Inspector General, saying it's true, and you've got no comment right now from the Director of National Intelligence, and you've got the Pentagon claiming it's not true. So who's lying?
What about the evidence of the program, the reverse engineering program I'm talking about? Because the way they phrased it in their description from the Pentagon was that there was no verifiable evidence for claims the U.S. government and private companies have access to or have been reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology. So they say there's no verifiable evidence. Is there?
The word is verifiable. Right. And the issue is, did Arrow have the will and the powers to actually kick the doors in and go and do the investigating? That didn't happen. Even the aerospace bosses who claim in the report that they've got no knowledge of extraterrestrial technology or a reverse engineering program, they haven't formally been put under oath and asked to testify under the oath that would make them commit perjury if they were lying. There's been no attempt proactively by Arrow, because they don't have the power to do this, to go into these facilities, the addresses of which, the locations of which were given to them by David Grush and other witnesses. They haven't made those inquiries. So frankly, Connell, I'm sorry to be rude to the Pentagon, but they're a complete joke on this. So what now? And I think they deserve ridicule. A lot of this is going to fall to the Congress. There are moves afoot in the Congress for more public hearings. I mean, as recently as this week, we've had a situation where allegations made by Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida have been borne out by an FOI request. And believe it or not, the military is continuing to try to suppress a video of an unidentified anomalous object that was seen hovering over the Florida coast by a US Air Force pilot. If there's nothing in this, if this is all poppycock, if it's all nonsense, and if it's all the fictional claims of a bunch of tinfoil hat crazies, why are US Air Force pilots not being allowed to reveal what they shot with their videos on their gun cameras? What is the US military hiding? And why is it so reluctant to expose itself to proper transparency?
I don't know the answers to any of those things, but I do know I enjoy any segment that includes the term poppycock. So thank you, Ross. It's good to see you. We'll stay on this, obviously. Good to talk.